Hey, what's up, everybody? Duck here. Welcome to the stream. Let's get a quick mic check before we get going here. But yeah, got Bitcoin up per usual. We had. I'm gonna just get rid of the harmonic for the time being here. Let's see. So yeah, we basically had this, like neckline breakout last night, right? Where we had the break, then we failed, but then it was about that follow through price action, right? That follow through rally. And basically since last night, I mean, over the past, I don't know what you want to call that, 18 hours, right? Over the past 18 hours, Bitcoin's up 6%. So nice little move there. Love to see it, right? A little bit of selling right now, but more sideways than anything right now. So nothing to really worry about. And even that being said, like to say that we're going to come back test this neckline again, right? To say that we're going to come do this again before rallying up. I don't know. I don't know about that. You've already pretty much been all over it. Okay. So it's almost more like, the higher a higher neckline now. See where traders settled up here on the 1st of June, right? We're now just regarding that, new high, previous resistance, right, as now support. So let's see if we can hold here. Obviously we're going to be looking for this 40K area next. So yeah, 40 to 42K would be our next major area of interest on Bitcoin. You have this pretty good square up here also at 45. That's pretty solid. But yeah, we were kind of looking at the tops of these harmonics here as kind of the current local targets, right? So that's your 40 to 42 range, which is going to be your initial area, right? 40 to 42. You might sell off again there, but hopefully you rally back, okay? So, yeah, so far so good. We're around 38K right now, so we're really close to, these target areas, right? Delete this. Yeah. Ethereum, again, nice little rally per, overnight, I guess you would call it, where kind of sold off a little bit, but mainly just to put in another higher low, right? Another higher low got put in. You broke and back tested. Not exactly. I mean, if this was higher, you could have said you back tested, but I feel like it was more down here with these highs and these highs, right? And these lows here. So that's more of the neckline around 2,500. Right now you're sitting at 2,760. So we obviously are looking for this overhead resistance zone between 3250 and 3550 next. We must break that if we're going to reach our ultimate target of 4K, all right? So, you could expect ETH to maybe cool off a little here or just some sideways action, but eventually let's get up here, right, into this 32 to 35 area, okay? That is our next objective mission on the mission, okay? Mission to Mars. You could almost say that you also have this local kind of overhead resistance area approaching as well. So that'll be a good signal there to flip that, right? So this previous, what was once resistance, right? Hopefully this third time's the charm and we get the rally, right? So, okay. ETH. Litecoin. Litecoin seems to be, per usual, always, right? Just lagging behind. Just, lollygagging along here. Barely have broken out of the, the neckline, right? You broke it, failed, but then came, follow through price action, got you back above it. Even back tested it really nice here with these candle closes on the 4 hour. So good to see. Yeah, I mean, right now you have this kind of down sloping trend line area that you almost kind of already butted up against it just recently. So we'll see if this can get above here and then, you know, regard this as support, something like that, right? So yeah, Litecoin. Our next area of interest is this 228 measured move. It's kind of, you know, 2.25 right there. So we had the measured move from these candle closes to this neckline. We copied and pasted that, brought it above the neckline, and it puts our measured move at $228. That's right below that previously kind of identified gray box resistance area overhead. So it makes sense that that's kind of like a front run target, right? But ultimately, I mean, you still got, you know, you got a lot of work to do here. So one step at a time. Okay, so if we were this downsloping trend line up here, you know, you can say that we've broken out of it. So let's see, you know, we just now need to hold it. Yeah, fibbing from high to low here. Fibbing from high to low. We are approaching, and when we hit this measured move target, we will have reached the golden zone, right? Just the base of it. So, you know, we need to flip the 382 as support to get into the golden zone, right? So it's like first objective is get to the target. You probably sell off a little, but then we get above and into the golden zone, and then we rally, right? And we rally, and we end up at the 618, 300. Would be more macro target. That's kind of like saying Litecoin gets to 300 is basically saying that like Ethereum is getting to 4K almost, right? So, and Bitcoin would probably be, you know, around like 55K at that point as well. So we need a rallying of the troops across the board, okay? AVAX, we identified last night this zone here, okay? We said that we were gonna kind of bounce around between this neckline in white and the resistance in red here. And sure as shit, that's what we did. We just bounced around in here and then we broke out of it, okay? Exactly like we wanted to see. You also came right to that square up. Bam, okay? So, you know, you're just resetting the oscillators here on the low time frame. Maybe you do it by going sideways. And then you rally again, okay? Same thing, right? FTM, all of these, we identified this last night, saying, you know, sell back off, back test this neckline, possibly even this upsloping trend line, and you did both of them, and then you rallied, okay? So exactly what we wanted to see on the follow-through price action on FTM. And FTM right now you're up 17% on the day, so crushing it. Big things, right? Doing big things here from the neckline up. You know, that's 20% move already, okay? And look, like our target's actually up here, right? So like all you're doing is you're barely starting, okay? So patience, Danielson's patience. More to come, okay? But definitely a good start. Even this downsloping trend line, which doesn't matter much, was also kind of broken at that same spot and back tested, right? So good to see it. Love to see it. FTT, same exact thing, right? We wanted to break. We wanted to run sideways on that neckline. You saw it there. We said strike one, strike two, strike three, right? So on this strike three, you had one shot, two shot, here's your third shot, and now you're rallying, okay? So the follow-through price action that we were looking for is in development. You know, you hit this kind of next congestion area, right? Which makes sense. It was just a local support resistance area, right? So ultimately, though, we need to get up to $50. So, I mean, depending on where you want to bring this neckline, just depending on how aggressive you want to get with these measured moves, you know, this is how we end up in that range. And if you got aggressive and you went to the wick, right, now you're even higher. So that is definitely kind of something you'd be looking for on FTT, basically on everything, right? You just want to get out of this, the lows, the low of the range. Right? So we put in like this range low. However you want to say this, right? If this was the range low and the range high was the target, you're basically, that 50% area, that yellow dotted line, right? The 50% area of the channel midpoint is the area we need to flip, right? And then we can test the highs. A lot of times you come back to the mid and then you run the high again, and that's when you break it, okay? So we've seen this story before. I've definitely seen this story before. But again, first you got to get above this initial area, right? 1, 2, maybe you sell off a little bit and it rallies and it takes a third time over here, okay? So they're all kind of at different levels, but ultimately, we have the same plan here, right? Up only. All right, moving along. This is SNX. Oops. Again, similar story. Neckline, local, low time frame kind of neckline was back tested, painted another higher low, right? Higher low. You're starting to rally. You next need to get up to this 1450 area, right? Which you see this square up here. Looking back left, that 1450 area may act as some resistance, and then when you get some rallying again, this is where you might break it, right? Does that make sense? Whoops. Especially you could see that larger time frame structure here, right? So what we're talking about is this large triangle here, okay? So if I was in this, okay, up, down, up, down, up, partial decline, rally out, and run, right? So that's a lot of times how these moves, these patterns will play out. It's where you had like, we talk about this being 100% of the pattern. So what would 70% of the pattern look like, right? Something like this maybe. So 100% of the pattern is in gray, but typically Bulkowski says that we will break out, at the 70% area, right? So look for a break in there. If this is just a large, kind of right angled, ascending triangle, whatever you want to call this shit. I don't do much of these triangles. They're not as good of patterns as our harmonics or our other Bulkowski patterns, because a lot of times, not necessarily this ascending one, right, but the symmetrical ones will have measured move to the upside as well as the measured move to the downside, because they are neutral patterns, right? So you have a target equal to the up and downside, okay? So that's why we normally try to not use these as our end all be all, right? So it's more just to see where we are in the overall grand scheme of things. But we prefer our inverse head and shoulders, our necklines, our measured moves here versus those triangles, okay? Those triangles are just they're too obvious to everybody, so they never play out the way you expect them to, because everybody would be getting paid that way, right? So it's almost like counter those type of patterns that are very, very obvious to the entire market, right? We like more advanced hidden type of patterns, right? We like our harmonics, our 5-point XABCD patterns with hidden bullish divergence, things that are hard for the average retail trader to see, to identify or even know about, right? That's where we find our edge. Those big symmetrical patterns like that, it's not really where our edge. Everybody can see that, right? How do we have an edge if everybody can see what we see, right? We prefer a little bit of camouflage, right? We prefer to you know, be like snipers hiding in the dark, right? Just waiting, patiently waiting, but you don't know where they are, and then all of a sudden, it's too late, right? They've reacted, and you're dead. XLM, we had this gray box. You can see it here. We identified that zone as the first area that we had to, you know, break out and above. Okay, so we got this nice engulfing candle, and then we back tested the neckline last night and just rode sideways. Okay, so like to see that. Of course, you know, we don't want to see this fail and get below this again, right? We don't want to lose this neckline or this lower side of this gray zone identified. Okay, but look, previous support was once resistance, it's now support again. So this is a very you know, very discernible area here, 40 cents, right? So clear invalidation point. A quick little trade on this, you know, would be just be taking it right to this next high. You'd have to be at a 3-to-1 or at least 2-to-1. 2-to-1 at least puts you below that right shoulder. 2-to-1. If you want a 3-to-1, you're right there. Okay, so that's how a trade would look at this exact moment on XLM. 3-to-1 risk to reward. But yeah, so I mean, ultimately you need to get up into this area, 50 cents, right? Flip this 50 cents area first, right? 50 cents, and then, you know, get into this zone. And if you can rally again, you'll find yourself at 64 cents, which is this square up looking back left. If we fib from Pepe to low, then you can see that 50% retrace is the line that we just drew all over is the 50. Okay, Dow's theory, 50. All right, the square up is more like getting to that 1618, which is the golden retrace zone. Okay, so let's get ourselves into the golden zone, and then maybe out of the golden zone, and we even get a deep 786, but we hit at least the square up at 65 cents. Okay, so excuse me, that's XLM. 1 inch marks the spot, right? We remember last night we were looking for the stupid X, right? We found our little X, our plus, we rotated it, make the X mark the spot. It's still there, nothing has changed. Okay, so if you want to draw another trend line here, you can say that you know, just you got between that little zone, failed, but then got back above it, regarded the bottom as support, and then now rallied out and up through it, and now back testing the top, what was once resistance, as support. So this is great. So we next need to rally up into the zone, and we will find ourselves at that $5, $4.85 area on inch. Okay, so again, we're just painting higher highs and higher lows, right? A low, higher low, higher low, and we have the high, and now we're working on a higher high, which isn't even done yet, right? It's already swept the highs, so it's already a slightly higher high, and you have a higher low. So far, you know, you have somewhat of a trend kind of happening here, right? Where we have a channel occurring, right? So let's see if we can find ourselves back onto the top of this channel, right? Testing the top high side of it. And it makes sense to get back above this neutral yellow line, okay, and ride that up, and then you end up breaking to that high side of the channel, right into our zone where X marks the spot, 1 inch. Okay, here's our AVE fib channel for Pride Month, right? This was one for the Prides. So you have a little bit of color scheme action happening. I don't know how to really gay this up anymore. I can make something yellow. Will that make you feel better? I don't know. Maybe I make this one pink as fuck. Does that make you feel better? Okay, there you go. All right, so basically we have this measured move here, local initial little 44% move that when we bring it up here, right, kind of puts us at that first yellow line. This is just like a fib channel, right? You're just marking 0, 25, the 50, the 75, the 100, right? just as you are on a fib. Okay, so that's all that is. Anyways, okay, so first area of interest is going to be hitting this yellow line there at 475. Maybe you run up, you hit this, you come back down sideways, and you're kind of making a wedge here again, right? And then you break out of it, back test it, and you end up at this next area. X marks the spot. 620 is, I mean, that's our first real target. Our second real target would be 800. Right now you're just sitting at 400. So, I mean, yeah, that's a nice little move to target 2. 100% move, double up, right? Double the stack. Oh, hi, Algo. How are you? It's nice to see you. It's really nice of you to follow our exact squiggles, right down to the T, right? So, okay, so Squiggle said we break out right there. Whoops. I don't want to leave. Okay. Here we go. So again, this is that stupid neutral pattern. Luckily, we're breaking out to the upside, but you know, this is that one that would do this, right? That's where we had this red line down here, because it's a measured move of a neutral pattern that goes both ways. Convenient on Pride Month, right? So, okay, so now, yeah, I mean, Algo, what are you up right now? 18%, right? Imagine that, just engulfing and follow through price action, right? Engulf the last 8 hours, you're up 18%. Bruh, I mean, I don't know. We can't do any better than that, okay? There is no doing better than that. Anything better than that is just unrealistic expectations, okay? This is TA being respected, and you're getting good gains, and that's how we play the game, all right? Once the edge is gone, we lock in these gains, we trail a stop. You know, you could already be trailing a stop up here to that previous neckline, which is basically your entry, right? If you bought that back test of the neckline and you're targeting the high, I'm basically telling you, you could, for one, you could have a stop about right here below the low, 4.5 to 1, but you could also be way uptight. I know some of you are a little uptight sometimes. I'm just kidding. But that's 23 to 1. You could barely even see the red on your see that? 23 to 1. Those are equitable trades, right? Just go ahead and stop me out. What am I going to lose? You know what I mean? Nothing, right? You're going to lose 2.3%, and on the plus side 54%, right? That's how you get into an equitable trade. Now, be careful though, this can still backtest, okay? And freak everyone out, square up this level, everyone gives everything back, right? And then it runs again. So, I mean, that can always happen. You can set a stop loss right now, and you can set a stop loss for, it doesn't have to be for your whole position. Change the amount of contracts that the stop loss is going to stop out. So instead of stopping out your whole position, you just have a stop loss you're trailing up here with maybe 30% or 40% or 50% of your position, right? Not the whole thing. And as it runs, you're just chasing it. See how high you can get it before it stops you out. And when it does, it's only going to lock in 30, 40% gains at like 20%. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's not a problem. That's a good situation to find yourself in. Getting stopped out in double-digit profit percentage gains is the way you're going to retire young and handsome, okay? So, you know, that's the goal. CRV, we are approaching the measured move, 37% from entry if you just simply took the back test of the neckline, okay? 3 to 1 would allow your trade to look just like this, okay? And you are approaching your target area. This is what I'm talking about, right? You could have been trailing a stop here, okay? Could have been trailing a stop, trailing a stop, trailing a stop, trailing a stop, trailing a stop. Oh, and it just got hit, right? But you're only out for 30 or 40%, and all you did was lock it in at 24% gains, right? You're fine. You're going to win like that, okay? Yes, can this run to the moon. Sure, everything always can, right? But we don't care about shit like that. We can't. There's no edge in that. There's no. If it happens, it happens. But we look for our patterns. We get our technical analysis. We get it aligned. We get our variables. We're on a significant time frame. We have a square up. Areas that we're going to target, and we have a measured move that we're targeting, and that's it. Okay, once we hit these targets and we hit target 2 square up 1, target 3 moon bag right here for the last like 10%, 15, whatever, that's good enough, right? Those gains, I mean, I'm not greedy. 60%, 80%, 30, 40%. If I told you those gains before showing them to you, it would sound greedy. So the fact that you're getting 80%, I mean, don't worry if it goes to freaking up here, right? So be it. Whatever. Cool story, bro. We'll be looking for another setup down here with good risk to reward, not trying to chase, some candle that's just going parabolic on us, right? If we're in it, great, but I'm not gonna leave profit on the table because I'm expecting that moon bag every time, right? That's a moon boy thinking, right? We're not moon boys. We're robotic technical analysts. We're swing traders, okay? Harmonic swing traders on significant time frames. We're not moon boys, right? We set targets, we hit them, we move on. Dragon on dragon. Nothing really exciting happening yet, but pretty much the way we left you. We were, we did paint this price action, so that's good. That's a start, right? We said let's get up above this gray box, right? You had this previous resistance. So we're hoping when we get here this third time, we break through it, and then we back test what was once resistance as support, and then we rally up to the next range high, okay? So far so good. Dragon is on proper course. GRT, see, look, some of these, and I mean, you could have brought this neckline down a little bit as well. There's kind of been 2 of them on all of them, right? Where we have this kind of lower one, and you're just ranging between them, right? So you're ranging between them, and then you're gonna pop out, and then you're gonna back test, and then you're gonna go, and you're gonna find yourself right here at $1.18. Okay, GRT. Doggy has entered the golden retrace zone. Okay, what is the golden zone? That's when we fib from the swing high to the discernible swing low, and we paint this measured. It's just a price range, okay, between the 382 and the 618. That's our golden retrace zone. You can see that this morning with that rally, we have entered the golden zone. You fell out of it, but now you've rallied back up, and you're actually holding the 382 as support at the moment, okay? So yeah, ideally we're targeting, getting all up in this golden zone, okay? So you could be layering out all through here, and then maybe save you a little something for the 786, okay? Where's the 786? We fib from high to low, and we could see the 786 is here, and of course the 886 being right above it, the deep retrace area, which if you still have bids coming in, you may find yourself that high, right? 65 cents. But I would start layering out. I mean, you already hit not target 1, but you hit what should have been an initial layered area, right? 45 cents, 50 cents, 55 cents, incremental round numbers, psychological round numbers. But of course we front run those, right? You don't want to wait for 55 cents. If it gets front run, you be the front run, right? Front run all psychological round numbers when given the opportunity. XRP just getting started as well. You're just kind of back testing. You broke out, right? So you broke out, failed, but now you broke out and you're back testing, hopefully holding this time. Golden zone is just above you. You basically failed right at the beginning of the golden retrace zone. So ideally you get into that zone and then you rally through into the top $1.30 XRP. We have a request for the Shiba Inu, Shiba coin. Okay, Shiba. So not too bad here. Okay. So you got this rounding price action initial low, right? And we painted a slightly higher low here. Okay. You got some neckline action in development, which you're basically kind of at it. I mean, I don't know that it's lower than that. You'd have to be down here. It's possible, okay? Because you did have this, you know, these areas here. So it's possible you're already above it with this past engulfing candle, right? So just need to hold it and then start to rally again. Fibbing just from the local high to low, you're also going to be approaching the local golden zone, okay? So yeah, that's you just got to start somewhere on the sheeb. But it's not looking too bad right now. Good little back test. Nice engulfing candles, you know what I mean? And then the red, it's just squaring up the oscillators. I mean, resetting the oscillators, and you're just doing these 50% retraces or 618s, just standard golden retraces, and then you rally again. Yeah, BTC, everything Litecoin. Let's see, we had another request for ONT. Ontology. All right, yeah, same thing here. You're gonna have this critical overhead resistance area, but you know, you're painting a nice little, you know, initial low, slightly higher low. Okay, pretty good little. Man, it's really hard to say where this is at sometimes. I like to be more conservative. Like, okay, this is being more aggressive. Okay, this is being more conservative. Why is it more conservative? Well, let me show you. If I was the aggressive line, okay, let's make our aggressive line a really aggressive purple. Okay, so if I was a measured move from the swing low close to the initial measured move, okay, my target would be here at $1.56. But if I was the more aggressive guy going to the purple and even taking the wick low, you can see how much more aggressive of a target that is. It's almost more at that, you know, initial area. And it's okay to have more than one target. Set target 1, target 2, right? Target 2, target 3, top of the zone, right? You can have more than one target. It's okay, guys, to split up your positions that way. It's a way of layering out. So you're fine if you do that. See, now Matic looks a lot different here. Let me go back. See how Ont really was selling off? Almost everything that we've been looking at has been this way. Matic, though, it's like held, right? You never really sold off per se the way that everything else did. So this looks like it's held up way stronger than a lot of other things. And for that reason, it's not displaying as good of as clear of an edge, because its edge has kind of already passed you by, right? So now you're looking for ideally more of not reversal, but like follow through price action, right? Like continuation patterns here. So initially, just for a quick shits and giggles, I would say that Matic likes this square up area right here, okay? So I'd be looking for 222, 222, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 on Matic. All right. Well, yeah. Not the longest of streams, but just wanted to go live. I mean, we know our plan, right? We don't need a incredibly long stream. Nothing has really changed, right? Again, we said we don't want to start losing areas, right? Losing these lows, right? Back testing them as a resistance, losing the stop resistance, right? All of this would be bad. Okay? So we know what we're looking for to bail, right? We don't want to see things become resistance that were, you know, previously acting as support, right? We don't want them to become resistance. What we do want is to break up, back up, hold this, maybe even do this, whatever, right? Yeah. It's up to Bitcoin, of course, per usual. And Bitcoin is, just a little bit of sell off here. But I mean, whoops. Like, is it really like that detrimental of a candle to cry about? You know what I mean? Just normal shit. The only time this hurts you is if you are way over leveraged, okay? But for us, it should just be noise. Noise, 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 okay? So, yeah, I'll join you guys back in the Discord again, and let's just keep an eye on things per usual and see how this all plays out. All right? Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Duck is out.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on?